Hi, Gareth.
Hi.
I wonder if we could start. How is Kiara after the hefty blow she took last night?
Yeah, okay. A little bit shook up, but she was pretty good in terms of straight after the game. Obviously saw her around the players and the celebration. So, yeah, it was a bit of a nasty kind of blow. Very brave from her. So, yeah, she'll check in with the medical team and see where we go from there.
And any other indication with the rest of the squad? Any fitness, injury issues?
We had a training group today. It was very much kind of everyone who played last night was on a recovery day. Yeah, lots of obviously lack of sleep, probably a little bit last night, getting back late. Even though it's a Manchester derby, it's still a bit of a journey for us over to Lee. But the players looked good this morning. We did a review of the game where we did that together. Then the players move off and do different parts, so recovery session, making sure that they try and recover back as best they possibly can, getting the nutrition right. And like I say, we had a small training group out on the pitch, which involved Bunny Shaw, which is good. Viv was there, Naomi Lazelle as well. So potentially looking like we could be a little bit stronger, certainly from the sidelines at the weekend. And of course, Oyama and Carolyn getting some more training volume under their belt, which is really helpful.
You mentioned Ayama and Carolyn. How have they bedded in training? When does it look like you might want to introduce them onto the pitch?
It's been really difficult. I think, obviously, Oyama's done a little bit more in terms of training, but comes off of a break in Japan. And Carolyn, very similar, probably less training. So, yeah, we just need to make sure we manage those players in the right way, in the appropriate way, so that they feel ready and strong to go into what we need them to go into. At the moment, they're probably neither are ready to start, so we just need to be mindful of that. So we're really pushing on the resource of the other players. So, but I have to say the players really stood up to it last night. I think when you had the quick turnaround from Sunday's game and the reaction from the players was spot on. It was a performance full of energy, full of guts and determination and great spirit as well, I thought.
You mentioned the great spirit. What does that say about the team for the rest of the season now, bouncing back from the disappointment of last weekend, going back into the league?
Yeah, I think this team has always shown that we fight till the end. We always fight back when we've suffered. We tend not to let it affect us. Of course it hurts, but we don't let it affect us too much. And this was a perfect game for us, obviously playing your rivals again that you played on Sunday, and to be able to potentially settle a few scores. Thought, yeah, there was a real determination from the players in that sense that I saw last night, and particularly the way they closed the game out really, really well.
And just finally from me, you came from behind against Villa last time. What are the threats that Villa pose to you?
Well, they're obviously new manager in place now. It's probably still going to be Sean taking the team, so it'd be really good to see him first and foremost. But I think we would have probably slightly changed things to what Robert was doing previously in terms of what we've seen. But I think if I take myself back to that game, regardless, thought we were excellent that game. The amount of control that we had in the game, we limited Villa to very little, conceded. Obviously, one of the few attacks that they had. I thought the team was outstanding that day. Obviously, Lauren Hemp played a big part in it. Jill Roord, obviously, with a goal. And again, very similar to the Liverpool game away at Anfield, where sometimes when you don't turn those games around, you're so satisfied with the performance and the levels and the control that we had. And of course, we want to try and do that again. And yeah, I think even with missing some of the key players, nice to get Bunny potentially back for some period of the game. Let's see. But yeah, I think those are the kind of levels we want to try and get to and get back to our earlier in the season standards. I think is going to help us a lot.
Thank you, Gareth.
Thanks, Jack. We'll go to Zoom now, Dan.
Hi, Gareth. Hope you're well.
Thank you.
Just going back to Sean, obviously I'm sure you'll be excited to go up against him at the weekend, but yeah, he seems to have really kind of steadied the ship in that period that he's been in charge at Villa. So how impressed have you been? Have you been kind of surprised with the impact that he's made there?
No, not surprised because he cares a lot, Sean. You know, he's a great guy first and foremost, obviously an old teammate, and yeah, I think he's probably taken a few things with him from us, which I think is really good, and you can kind of see some similarities. Obviously, he seems to be playing with one deep midfielder now rather than two, which is obviously really similar to how we do things. So yeah, I think it'd be really good to see him. Of course, we're both really competitive, and you know that's not changed, and it'll certainly be the same at the weekend where we're both going at it, trying to win the game for our respective teams.
Will you speak to him leading up to the game, or will you kind of play the game and then kind of reflect with him afterwards?
Yeah, I think it'll be afterwards, out of respect, because it'll be a cagey conversation, I can assure you. I think we have spoken on a few occasions since he's taken the role on the interim basis, but yeah, it'll be radio silence until we actually see each other.
I just want to come back to Ciara Keating, because obviously last weekend was a difficult moment for her, but you know, to bounce back the way she did, kind of how proud are you? And you know, I know she's done it before, but you know, you must be really proud of the way that she stood up and kind of put in a great performance last night. Yeah,
really proud, because I think that the easy thing for me to do was to probably take her out of that situation, but there was never a hesitation in my mind that if she continues and gets the opportunity to showcase what she can do, and we know she can do that. I think the Sunday night was a little bit harsh in a sense of probably how everyone viewed it and how she was probably feeling. Probably felt a lot rested on her, but I don't see it that way. Again, first and foremost, I've always said that I'm responsible for the way the team plays, and I will never criticise a player for trying to play that way. Of course, we wanted to be cleaner in all of the actions that we had, but I certainly felt that players in front of her could have helped her a little bit more as well. I think certainly for the direct goal, the fourth one, I think was really, you know, we needed to be better there. What happened last night, we had exactly the same scenario, the kick-off for United, and we were really diligent on making sure we blocked and protected her as much as we could. So that's progress for me, and I think it was progress for Ciara last night as well.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Gareth. Best of luck for the weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. We'll go to John T next.
Hi Gareth, hope you're well.
Thank you.
Obviously, as a result of last night's game, you've just had a double header with Manchester United. You've now got one coming out of Arsenal in a couple of weeks. The fact you've just had one against one of the sort of other top sides in the league, you've seen how that can go bad, but you'll see the team are very capable of turning it around quickly. Does that give you motivation going into another one? But you're coming off that sort of result last night.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you only get that once in a season where you play a team back to back in quick succession, and we're going to have the same again. We've had it before. I think that, it's good in a sense. I always felt going into Sunday's game at the Etihad was kind of, well, someone is going to get an opportunity. One of these teams is going to get an opportunity to fight back on that Wednesday night, and as it turned out, it was us, and we really did that well last night. So I think, yeah, they're interested in those types of games. The preparation for them takes care of itself in between, because you've just played them literally 48 hours before. So yeah, we need to focus on this game at the weekend, obviously Villa, before we look any further ahead.
Speaking about that game at Villa, obviously the way this season probably now set up is the top four. It's going to be very competitive the second half of the season. On a weekend where two of them are playing each other, Chelsea and Arsenal, how important is it for yourselves to keep sure you get your side of business done, so you keep pressure on all those teams around you?
Yeah, we have to do it. We have to, really fight in this next WSL game. We know playing Villa at Villa is tough. Even on the big surface we have there at Villa Park, I think it's great. It takes me back to the last game of last season, but yeah, the scheduling for us has not been very kind. The only game that's playing on Saturday is us and Villa. Villa haven't played midweek. We have injury issues, so that's really testing the squad a little bit. But I like what I saw last night in terms of the determination and the likes of Laura Blinkhill-Brown coming into the team and doing a really good job and really fighting and competing against really physical players in Man United, and of course Laura Coombs as well. Lily Murphy doing great, I think is going to be a real confidence boost for her, because she's an exciting player to watch, and that would have given her a lot last night, scoring and assisting. like I say, Laura Coombs, I thought, really brought composure and experience into quite a young team.
And obviously the window's about a week or so left. You've had actually a busy week or so in terms of ins and outs. Do you see there being much movement in your squad, whether that's in or out before the window shuts?
Who knows? Who knows? I think it's, sometimes a week can feel like a month in the window, particularly that last week. So we'll see. I think there's still some areas that we'd like to try and help the squad with. Whether we're able to achieve that or not is going to be really tight, because it's a difficult market in January. But we're certainly trying. If it happens, great. If not, we'll be fine.